Well, hey, North Park Community Church. Pastor Luke here with another episode of First Looks. And we are continuing on in our series through the Gospel of Matthew, which we have entitled this series, The Way of the King, which is, by way of reminder, the way of Jesus in his life and death. But then subsequently, it is the way for the king's people, the way the king would have us to live. So we see both of these things in the Gospel of Matthew. Christ's beautiful life, his kingdom invitation, but then also his declaration of what it looks like to be a part of his kingdom and to be a citizen of his kingdom, to walk in the ethics of his kingdom. And so we have started the Sermon on the Mount last week. We'll give that a capital. The Sermon on the Mount. And we looked at last week the Beatitudes. And now this week, we're going to be looking at Matthew 5:14 through 16. And we'll see light of the world. All right. So, with that, we're going to be looking at these first couple verses, but then we're going to explore maybe a little bit of a biblical theology, maybe just a little bit of an introductory theology of light throughout the scriptures, just with the time that we have here. So, let's go ahead and let's take a peek. First, Jesus says, "You are the light of the world." We want to highlight that. You are the light of the world. Now, what immediately is popping into your mind right now? Maybe something like, I've heard something similar, but isn't Jesus the light of the world? Might be thinking, I would rather Jesus be the light of the world because I don't know that I'm quite up to the task of being the light of the world. Okay, well, just hold on to that and we'll keep pressing on, and we'll see what else we uncover along the way here. So he goes on to describe this. You are the light, and we have a metaphor. You are the light of the world. Metaphor, a city. Maybe it's less of a city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Okay. Now, there's some things here that are really important to grab. First of all is, what do we think of when we're first century Jews and we think of city on a hill? Everybody is thinking Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the city which is to be the light of the world because it's the epicenter of the temple and Judaism, and Israel is called to be the light of the world. Hold on to that. Now, this is really cool. Also, catch this. Remember who Jesus is talking to and where he is talking to them. Who's he talking to? He's talking to poor, sick, outcasts, Gentiles and Jews alike, but Gentiles is the derogatory one here. And then talking at, maybe I should change that and say talking on a mount or hill. It is certainly a hill that he was on, not an actual mountain. And he, in the area of Galilee where he would have been, it would have been kind of a hilly area just outside of, just off of the Sea of Galilee coast, and there's just an increased elevation there, sometimes referred to as the hill country. So certainly he is on a hill. And okay, so just remember that. Okay, a city set on a hill. What Jerusalem is intended to be, Jesus is now he's talking about this with a reference to not Jerusalem, but you. You are now a city set on a hill. But who is the you? The poor, the sick, the outcasts, the Gentiles, those who follow him. Okay. So a city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Cannot grab that. It cannot. It's just a part of just in the essential nature of it. Okay. Nor do people, and here we've got metaphor 2, another metaphor, I guess. Nor do people, illustration, I guess. Nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand. Okay. Okay, so now we've got lamp, another light-giving picture here, and Jesus is saying it does not fit with the essential nature to put it under a basket, but its essential purpose is to be visible and able to be seen. A light. People don't light a lamp and put it under a basket, but they put it on a stand, and what happens? It gives light to all of the house. And so on a stand, and then as you do that, it gives light to all in the house. It is a purpose statement that will correlate to purpose of Jesus' disciples. Okay. So that's the pictures there. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. People don't light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand. And so really we have a metaphor in that you are the light of the world, and then we have kind of two illustrative pictures that kind of emphasize the point of the metaphor. Now we get into the kind of the summary principle statement here. Okay, and that's going to be found here. So in the same way, let your light shine before others. To what end? So that. Let your light shine. Why? This is the purpose. So that they may see. See what? Your good works. Interesting. Just a Greek note for you. This word right here, good. There's two words that we translate as good in Greek. Number one is Agatha. Okay. And that is what we typically think of as as good. The second one, though, is kalas, which is beautiful, attractive, fine, good. that sense of it. So, which one is the one that's used here? It is number 2, kalas. Which means that let your beautiful, attractive, winsome works, may those be what is seen, and may those bring about not your honor and give glory to your Father, not you. We say C 6:1 and following about those who do their good works to be seen by men. And Jesus says, when you do your good works to be seen by men, you'll get your reward from men. You will not get your reward from your Father who is in heaven, who sees your good deeds that are done in secret. So that's all going to be dealt with even more so as we move through the sermon even further. Remember, this is a sermon, and Jesus is a great preacher, and so you lead out with the Beatitudes, blessed are, blessed are, blessed are, blessed are, and then you move into this part of when you live like this, the Beatitudes, peaceful, poor in spirit, hungry and thirsting for righteousness, merciful, things like that. Then what you end up doing is that in your very existence, in your being, in that kind of kingdom person, you begin to radiate into a world that is filled with darkness, and And as you radiate as a kingdom citizen by being like the Beatitudes, what they depict and describe, and what follows after this into the rest of the Sermon on the Mount, it is a truth-bearing existence. I'm gonna write that down. I'll grab that. Yeah. Living in beatitude, reality is the existing as light in dark world, which is a truth bearing life. Truth-bearing life. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, as we're going to see in a moment, that light is often combined with revelation, and your word is a lamp to my feet, a light unto my path, that kind of thing. And so the revelation, though, is not just word. It is word, no doubt about it. It is gospel proclamation, gospel content, good news of the life, death, resurrection of Jesus, but that can't remain in word alone. It must be holistic and be incarnational, in which the truth is not just professed; it is lived out. It's a holistic thing. In the post-Enlightenment Western world that we live in, we sometimes will dichotomize those two things to where truth is good, the theoretical truth is good about the things we learn and the knowledge we acquire, but then we don't always hold that same value for the incarnational impact of the word becoming enfleshed, which is what John 1:14 is talking about, with Jesus, the word of God, becoming flesh. But then that's what is to happen within us as well. The truth of the gospel is to become enfleshed in our very lives. I think that's what's getting after here. I'm going to write that down too. The truth of gospel is to become enfleshed in our lives. All right, I'm getting excited. I'm not writing very well here. I'm just starting to put down chicken scratch, which is not going to be very easy for you guys to follow along with. So I'll see if I can do any better here. All right, so there we go. That's maybe just a quick rundown on the couple verses 14 through 16, Matthew 5, 14 through 16, that we're going to be looking at, 3 verses. But now I do just want to do maybe just kind of a brief survey of some other passages that are going to help just kind of maybe develop a fuller understanding of the biblical usage of the theme of light. And so let's get this going and let's check it out. Here we go. First, I want to go to this right here. And this is from Matthew 5, 14 through 16. So this is the context in which Jesus is giving his sermon. It's right after, okay? And in Matthew 5:14 it says, so what was spoken by the prophet Isaiah might be fulfilled, the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, the way of the sea beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles, the people dwelling in darkness have seen a great light. And for those who are dwelling in the region of the shadow of death, on them a light has dawned. Okay. This is about Jesus compare with 5:14, which says, "You are the light of the world." So Jesus is the light of the world. Now it's in the context of Matthew saying Jesus is the light of the world. And what we see is that our light-bearing nature is bound up in relational connectivity to Jesus. Our light-bearing nature is bound up in our connectivity to Jesus. I don't know. I'm going to preach all of this in just 35 minutes. Pray for me. Okay. Now moving on down. Let's look at another significant passage here in the New Testament, which is John 1 through 14. And in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him. Without him was not anything made that was made. So, okay, what are we thinking about right here? We are thinking about Genesis 1, are we not? Okay, but then in him was life. In him was life. The life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness has not overcome it. Okay, so Jesus is now connecting life and light together. Life, the life was the light shines in the darkness, but the darkness has not overcome it. Okay, so and with this we have things made. So made to life, life to light. Made or creation to life to light. Okay, that's what we see going on there. Then we get a little bit about John the Baptist. We know him. He came to bear witness about the light. He came as a witness to bear witness about the light, that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but he came to bear witness. About the light. Who's the light? Light is Jesus, the true light, which gives light to everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world was made through him, yet the world did not know him. He came into his own, and his own people did not receive him. But to all who did receive him, who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God, who were born not of blood, nor the will of the flesh, nor the will of man, but of God. The Word became flesh, dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory. Glory as the only Son, full of grace and truth. So, a couple things here. The world was made through him, yet the world did not know him. So, the light has been rejected, which equals darkness. And light comes into darkness through Jesus. Okay, and then this is connected light and seeing God's glory. Okay. All right, we'll stop there. But then we'll just look right underneath. We got another passage, John 8:12. Again, Jesus spoke and he said, "I am the light of the world." Again, see Matthew 5:14. You are light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of what? The light of life. Okay, light and life connected. This is going to be important. All right, now let's keep moving forward, and let's we'll leave the New Testament here. We'll start to work through the Old Testament for, well, I guess just for a minute, because I'm going to actually pair the bookends together here of the Bible. First chapter and last chapter. Okay, so we got Genesis 1 through 5. We got Revelation 21 through 26, and then right underneath Revelation 22 3 through 5, the last chapter there. So here we go. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. God created. Earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. Okay, darkness. In the beginning, there was darkness. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." There was light. And God saw the light. It was good. He separated light from darkness, called the light day and the darkness night. There was morning and evening the first day. So one thing we like to make note of is the sun has not been created yet. Okay? So there is light, but the light is not from the sun. Okay? Now get down to the last chapter. We see that there is a new city. There's no temple in this new city. This is the new Jerusalem. Its temple is the Lord God the Almighty and the Lamb. Okay? The city, think of city on a hill from Matthew 5. It has no need of sun or moon to shine on it. Why? Because the glory of God gives it light, and its lamp is the Lamb. By its light will the nations walk, and the kings of the earth bring their glory into it. And the gates will never be shut by day. There will be no night there. And they will bring into it the glory and the honor of the nations. So, in that city, no need for sun or moon to shine. The glory of God gives it light, and its lamp is the Lamb. Okay, so this is read next to Matthew 5:14 through 16. That right there. Okay, and then just a couple. Not even turn the page, but it's just the following verses. As we get into chapter 22 here, where it says, "No longer will there be anything accursed, but the throne of God and the Lamb will be in it, and the servants will worship him. They'll see his face." Okay, seeing is right up there. Visibility, light, seeing. They'll see his face, and his name will be on their foreheads, and night will be no more. There we go again. They will need no light of lamp or sun, for the Lord God will be their light. Okay. So we see that there is a bookending theme between Genesis 1 and Revelation 22 of light, and light that is coming from God, not from the sun. Okay, so let's just hold on to that. And we move into Isaiah. Isaiah does a ton with the theme of light, much more than what I have here, but this will serve just to maybe survey a little bit for us. So let's just run through some verses here. "Behold my servant." Israel understood that to be Israel, but there is servant theology in Isaiah that is messianic. Okay. Behold my servant, whom I uphold, my chosen, in whom my soul delights. I have put my spirit on him. Okay. Look at Matthew 3, baptism of Jesus. He'll bring forth justice to the nations. Okay, that's right there. 42, a couple verses later, and 6 through 7. I am the Lord, I have called you into righteousness. I will take you by the hand and keep you. I will give you as a covenant for the people, as a light for the nations. Okay, so Israel is understanding it to be Israel's job to be the light to the nations. But again, we're now understanding the fulfillment of this prophecy through the lens of Jesus and his new community of Jesus followers, the disciples. To the open eyes that are blind, to bring out the prisoners from dungeon, and from the prison of those who sit in darkness. Okay. Now, a little bit later, this is in a couple chapters later in Isaiah 49. Okay, you are my servant. There we are again, Israel, in whom I will be glorified. Okay, so they're understanding servant to be kind of the collective Israel. Now, it says this, I have labored in vain, spent strength nothing in vanity. Yet surely my right is with the Lord, and my recompense with God, who formed me from the womb of the servant. Jacob kept him, Israel might be gathered by him and honored in the eyes of the Lord. And my God shall become my strength, he says. It is too light a thing. Oh, that's not the right that's not the right light, is it? Wrong one. Okay, it is too light a thing that my servant should raise up the tribes of Jacob to bring back the preserved of Israel. I will make you a light to the nations, that my salvation may reach to the ends of the earth. And so we see light functioning for salvific purposes. Okay. All right. Good. As we move on into Isaiah 60 right there, 1 through 3, arise, shine. Your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and thick darkness of the peoples. But the Lord will arise upon you, and his glory will be seen upon you. So you see the connection of light and God's glory. So light is God's glory upon his people, that the nations shall come to your light, and the kings to the brightness of your rising. That attracts the nations to God. All right. They're going to come to your light. But what is your light? Your light is the glory of God that is upon you. Okay. All right. And then we just have a couple other verses here that I'm just kind of throwing out there that just kind of just additional ones. But Isaiah is really where I'm situated, and these are Isaiah verses here too as well. But it kind of just adds to maybe just a fullness of this whole thing. So Psalm 89:15, blessed are those who have learned to acclaim you, who walk in the light of your presence. So light, we're thinking glory, and presence, all being kind of intertwined. Isaiah 5:20, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness, so darkness is evil, For light, and light is the good. For those who mix up darkness and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Okay, so now light is good. Darkness, evil. Okay, Isaiah 51:4. Listen to me, my people hear, my nation. Okay, so this is Israel, understanding them to be the light. Instruction will go from me, my justice will become a light. So now God's justice is light to the nations. All right. We're going to stop there for time's sake. We could keep going, but we see that light is a very multifaceted theme, that it's God's glory, it's God's justice, it's righteousness, it's revelation. As we look at Psalm 119, 105, truth equals light there. So we see it as just a very multifaceted theme, but we see Christ as the culminating embodiment of everything that it's pointing to. But then, as we would certainly say, yes, that's Jesus, for sure, the embodiment of all of these things. He goes and he makes this wild statement that, yes, he is the embodiment of it, but now he's placing that upon his followers, that we're to be that too, as a continuing, emanating light of God's glory, God's justice, God's goodness, God's purity, God's revelation. That's to be seen in the lives of the followers of Jesus, so that the world would see how we live our lives, and that would lead them to draw near to God and to give him the glory. Now that'll preach, but we still got a lot of sorting to do to take all of this and to mold it into a proper sermon. So pray for me if you would. I'd be so grateful for it. Can't wait to preach it. And as I preach through all of this, we're going to have Karita back with us to try to capture this sermon into a painting, and I'm really excited for that. So with all that, I love you, church, and we'll see you Sunday. God bless.